Hey everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and tonight I got to watch episode 5 of Marvel's Season 2, What If? And yeah, this one is the first time we're getting, I think, a straight up just a sequel to something that happened in Season 1. This is also, at the very end here, our first like little hint as to whatever the major culmination of all of these events is actually going to lead up to, because of course, you know, it has to, right? Like that's kind of the structure of these things. It's all standalone until it isn't, you know. And this one is What If Captain Carter Fought the Hydra Stomper, and it's just picking up right off of essentially their riff on Winter Soldier, where they find the Hydra Stomper, and Steve Rogers is still alive, and they have like this big battle, and you know, it's all there's a lot of action in this episode. And I think my thing about this one, particularly this one, is that more than any other, it doesn't feel like enough of a significant change was made, you know, because really all we have here is that, you know, obviously Captain Carter herself is the big change, and then Steve Rogers is now trapped in the suit, and he's essentially taken the place of the Winter Soldier, but he's, you know, is like, oh, the Hydra Stomper, he's like the, you know, he's the greatest assassin in the world, and he's just like a myth or a rumor that he was still around, you know. And then he's basically brainwashed. He's trapped inside this, you know, this suit of armor. They can't get him out, and they even kind of go from doing this Winter Soldier riff to basically doing a riff on the Black Widow movie, where now they're dealing with the Red Room and the giant floating whatever you call that, the fortress, right? The Red Room, giant floating fortress thing. And the bad guy is I don't remember her name. It's the lady who was Natasha's fake mom in Black Widow. She's the bad guy of this episode, basically. And yeah, it's just trying to get Steve Rogers to remember who he is, and then he makes like a heroic sacrifice. And I don't know, I think this one just didn't go far enough, you know. Like even in the episodes where, you know, they just take someone out of one place and they put them in some other point in the timeline or something like that, like kind of like what we did, you know, with the episode before this, where we have you know, where we have Iron Man on Sakaar, you know, like a situation he's never been in. Pretty interesting. But this one, it just felt like Winter Soldier, and then it just felt like Black Widow. And that was it, you know. I was like, you changed the names of the characters, and you know, you just like switched around the places of who's who, but the events, like the actual like events that played out, were very similar, you know. Like okay, there's you know, an old ally who's now brainwashed, and he's under control of the Russians, and then you just kind of blended that together into the Black Widow movie, and that's really all this episode was. So I will say, I think for right now, this is kind of the weakest one. I feel like there are other episodes from season 1 that definitely deserved a sequel more. This one was just okay, you know. And again, I think it's just because they didn't go far enough. You know, they should have really gone out there and changed something a lot more drastic. But really, it's just, you know, brainwashed Steve Rogers is now the Winter Soldier Stomper, and that's it. That's pretty much it. That's the premise of this one. So I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm like, it's okay. However, at the very end, like I said, we did get you know, our hint as to what's happening in the future. You know, Captain Carter's about to go on a road trip and go search for Steve Rogers, kind of like at the end of Winter Soldier, you know. And instead, she gets pulled through a portal, and she meets like Victorian era Scarlet Witch, and who else? Oh, and Nick Fury, Victoria era Nick Fury and Scarlet Witch. So, you know, I know we've seen trailers that's also going to be another episode at some point. They're doing like a, you know, what if what if the Avengers happened in what, 16 something or 18 something or whatever. You know, so that should be fun. I didn't realize that Captain Carter would be tied into that episode, but you know, it's fine. But yeah, I will say this was just kind of the weakest one, because it just felt like we're doing the same beats as the movies. We just kind of put it in a blender a little bit. Whereas, you know, some of the other situations, you know, like I said, Iron Man on Sakaar, it's such a drastic change that it doesn't feel the same. You know, it doesn't feel like we're just doing Thor Ragnarok again. It actually feels significantly different. So I don't know. Honestly, I think what's happening here is that Captain Carter, the character, is she's basically the mascot for this show. You know, like when you think of What If, the TV show, she's the character who's usually, you know, it's her and the Watcher who are usually like all over the posters and all over the promotional material. You know, so I guess it makes sense to give her character another one, but I wish they went a little further. I wish, you know, events got a little bit more crazy than just doing Winter Soldier and Black Widow movie and just putting those two together and that's it, you know. But anyways, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Let me know what you guys think. Bye.